this video found its way into your feed today, it's not a coincidence. It's likely because you've reached the point where you're just done. Done with constantly struggling with your weight. Done with chasing perfect diet plans. Done with quitting every time the scale goes up, even though you worked so hard to get it to go down. And you're done with starting from scratch again. If you're sick of that voice in your head that keeps saying maybe this time will be different, only to find yourself right back where you started, or you hate feeling like you're the only one that can't figure this out, this is the exact place you need to be right now. Because you need to hear this. And the fact that you found this video is proof that you're finally ready to hear it. I know exactly how that feels because I've been where you are right now. A few years back, I regained 50 pounds, which was devastating because it wasn't long before that I thought I found the diet that I would follow forever. The diet that helped me lose 100 pounds at a time when I never thought I'd be back in a healthy body again. Maybe you've had a moment like that too, where you thought you finally cracked the code, only to watch it all slip away. After I had my first baby, I found myself looking in the mirror at someone I didn't recognize because of those arms. Those chunky arms, where did they even come from? By this point, I'd already struggled with my weight for many years, but I never really cared about my arms. But suddenly, they were the only thing I could see. Well, not the only thing, because I definitely didn't love my stomach that still stuck out like I was a full 9 months pregnant, nearly a year after giving birth. And even though I struggled with losing the same 20 to 50 pounds for decades before this was the first time that I couldn't find a single pair of pants in the women's section that actually fit. If I wanted to find something that I felt comfortable in, I had to still shop in the maternity section or go to a plus size store. But even after getting to this unrecognizable place, this wasn't my first time gaining or losing weight. I'd already tried every plan I could to get back into my size 8 jeans. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, LA Weight Watchers, counting calories, cardio. I did all of the cardio. But every time I thought I found a plan that would work, it always ended the same way. I'd always start really strong, following strict rules for weeks, only to burn out and feel like a complete failure while stuffing my face with all of the foods that were off limits just the day before. And what made it even worse was how much of my identity was wrapped up in these diets and being disciplined. I felt like if I just tried harder that it would finally work, and I'd never find myself back here again. Let me know if you've ever told yourself the same thing. But eventually, I stopped seeing these failures as failures. I had to if I ever wanted to get off the hamster wheel for good. Because these failures finally taught me the truth, which no flashy transformation video ever tells you. Fat loss is never linear, and it almost never feels like it's working, at least until it does. Looking back, my rock bottom moment wasn't the moment I regained all the weight. It was the moment that I finally admitted that my problem wasn't my effort. The problem was my expectations. Because I thought every diet had to be hard for it to be effective. I thought hunger meant it was working. Not that I could probably eat a little bit more kind of hunger, but the hunger you feel when you can't fall asleep because your stomach won't stop growling. And I thought that if I wasn't losing 2 pounds a week, that whatever I was doing wasn't working. So I kept chasing intensity. And I kept following all of these quick fat loss hacks that the experts swore would work. Not just for today, but forever. Because they all came with their cute little maintenance plan once you got to your goal weight. But that kind of intensity and those fast weight loss plans, I never got to my goal weight. Not even close. All of those plans only led to me losing for the first few weeks, which always felt amazing at first, but I would crash, burn, and regain the weight every time. Because none of these diets gave me what I actually needed, which is sustainability, confidence, and peace. One day, I hopped on the scale expecting it to drop, only to see the number go up. And I was devastated because I had worked so hard that week. And for what? I knew I did everything right. I even skipped going out to eat with my family just to get the scale to go down. But here I was, and none of that effort showed. So obviously, I was ready to give up. I was ready to throw out my entire plan and go back to binging on cookies and chips. Have you ever been there? Where you do everything right, but your scale won't budge? or worse, it goes up, where you just want to throw in the towel because what's the point of trying if it's not working? But instead of giving up, I took a few deep breaths and then I went for a walk. Not because it was some grand plan to burn calories or burn fat even faster, but just because it was something. And that 20-minute walk changed everything, because that's when it finally clicked. Success doesn't come from getting things perfect. It comes from showing up. You might feel like you've already wasted years starting and stopping. Years taking off the weight only to gain it all back. Maybe you look at other people and wonder why it's so easy for them. Maybe you've started to believe that there's something wrong with you, that you're just not built for this. But what if all of those false starts were never really failures? What if they're all just reps? Mental reps, discipline reps, pattern recognition reps. The reps you needed to go through to figure out what finally works. Not for someone else, but what works for you. And all of that effort that led you to this point, you weren't failing. You were training. And now, maybe for the first time, you are finally ready. Because after years of the been there, done that, didn't work for me, now you know that you don't need another 12-week shred. So when some influencer pops up on your screen promising that you'll lose 20 pounds in 30 days, you know just to keep scrolling. Because you've already tried that. By this point, you know that you need to eat real food most of the time. You know you have to move your body every day if you want to make fat loss easier. Even if you don't want to admit it, you know you need more sleep, which means turning off Bravo and going to bed by 10 p.m. And you've finally figured out that you need to stop waiting for motivation to show up. You just need to take action now, in this moment. Quit waiting for Monday to roll around. Because if you don't commit to starting right now, you're still just making excuses for why you can't get results. I know none of this is new, but the reason you're stuck, it isn't because you don't know what to do. It's because you still haven't accepted this one truth. Fat loss is boring and it's repetitive. And even though your plan will never be perfect, all of that effort you're putting towards a healthier you is 100% worth it. Even if it didn't show up on the scale today, you don't need another crash diet. You just need momentum. I know none of this sounds exciting. You're probably even thinking, but I want results now. And I get it, because I was there too. But this is what I learned. Momentum is built one decision at a time. Like taking a walk instead of a scroll, making a home-cooked meal instead of hitting up the drive-thru, getting a full night's sleep instead of another Netflix binge. Each of those decisions is a brick. And when you stack enough bricks, you become inevitable. But only if you quit starting over. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they keep pressing the reset button every time they fall off track. And you'll never build momentum when you keep wiping the slate clean. So stop chasing perfect. Instead, chase better. Every day, one decision at a time. You've already tried hard. Probably harder than anyone realizes, including you. But the work you've done, it isn't wasted. It's part of what got you to where you are. So if this video hits different, maybe it's because you're finally ready. Not for another diet, but for the version of you who's done starting over, who's done waiting, and finally ready to do it. Messy, consistently, and on your terms. If this video is what you needed to hear today, make sure you bookmark it. Because I promise you, there will be days that you'll need to hear it again. And maybe send it to a friend who's dealing with the same struggle, because she probably needs to hear it too. Of course, your journey doesn't end here, because we're just getting started on our journey together. Watch this video next, because I want you to finally get out of that fast weight loss mindset. In this video, I show you exactly how to do that.